There's a big gap between the crowd and the pitch here with the running track around this stadium. And the effects mics are picking up an awful lot of what goes on. Some of it slightly unsavoury. Player receiving treatment is Dan Metzger, who plays for New York Red Bulls, having joined them from the Texas-based Austin Aztecs earlier this year. We've had a fair few injuries in this opening half. Ahmed Fadil going off with what looked like a really serious one for Qatar. Then Juan Pablo Osegueda, the American left back, also departing the field. And now Sam Strong has gone off, having got a bang in the face. So he's now sitting on the bench nursing a cut. The Americans have had to reorganise their back four, but I don't think they're going to make a substitution until maybe half-time, because I think Strong will be able to be patched up. It is just a cut. Meanwhile, Qatar trying to get forward. Here's Green. Free kick to the US. This is Packwood. We're into a couple of minutes of added on time. Chance for a strike for Pelosi, but he didn't hit it with any great conviction at all. The US at the moment have 10 men on the field. Dan Metzger, the defensive midfield player, has slotted in to the hole vacated by Sam Strong, the defender, who's now gone down into the tunnel to get that cut to his head seen to. I would expect him to return to the frame. Meanwhile, there's a first booking for the United States. Mark Pelosi, yellow carded for this challenge deliberately on Al Said, just putting him on Al Khalfan, I should say, just pulling him back. I think we may get a substitution for the US before half-time. Fatih Al-Lashe, who scored in the defeat against Costa Rica, number 13 there, is about to come on. Free kick for Qatar, again fielded by Tyler Miller, who's had an extremely comfortable half. The Zweibrücken goalkeeper made an interesting season he's had with the 4th Division club in Germany. He's played 9 times for them, all of them defeats, and he's been sent off twice. USA trying to get a last dig at goal. Karoma Shams sees his cross blocked. It's going to be a corner. Could well be the last action of this opening half, and there may not be time for Fateh Al-Lashe to come on for the US before referee Verissimo blows his whistle. What we will have time for is the corner, which Dylan Cerner, a left-footed player, has gone across to take. Sateh Al-Abbasi beaten just once today, but by an absolutely magnificent finish. Packwood's gone up to try and receive this corner. High and hanging from Cerner. Packwood will keep it in. And that is half-time. It's not been the most entertaining of matches, but the goal that separates the two teams at the interval was an absolute beauty from Julian Green, smashing a volley low and hard into the net from an excellent cross by Orlando Hernandez. And the USA, who simply have to win to have any hope of staying in this tournament, have the lead at the interval. It's Qatar 0, the USA 1.
If you've been wishing for something amazing, at Cricket Wireless, we've got it. A special offer on the new Samsung Galaxy S6. Plus, we've got more 4G LTE coverage nationwide than T-Mobile or Sprint. Because a great phone deserves a great...
That Tassigny in Aubang, France, 1-0 to the USA after 40 minutes of play. That lone goal coming very early on in the first half with Julian Green scoring on a cross from the corner. Alonso Hernandez capitalizing. Let's get a look at the highlights from the first half. And really the situation in this game, the USA need to win, and they probably need to win big to have any chance of competing in the third place competition, with the Netherlands and France up at the top of the standings, and at least one of those teams in Group A pegged to finish with a better record than the United States already at this point. The USA fighting for that third place match, and the first goal coming in on the stroke of minute 8. 7:03 on the clock. Hernandez with a beautiful cross to Julian Green, who really made it look easy, sweeping that one past the goalkeeper Alabasi and in. And it looked at that point like the USA may be getting ready to really open up the attack and come after the Qataris, but Qatar, to their credit, have held the USA in check since then. A shot here from Julian Green and a save made by Alabasi in net. Here's another look and a couple of spills on that play as Alabasi able to handle it. The USA really sort of turned the gas down a little bit after that first goal. A couple of injuries from either side really contributing to the half slowing down, as Ahmed Fadil was taken off with an injury, and I believe JP Osageda also taken off with an injury for the United States. Another quick break, we'll be back. USA 1, Qatar. They've played the two hardest teams in the group first and fell 2-0 to France before getting demolished 5-1 at the hands of the Netherlands. A big size advantage playing a key role in that. The Qataris kept giving up free kick scenarios and corner kicks, and just the height and the size of the Netherlands players and defenders forcing in goals led to a dominating victory for them. Qatar has pretty much 7 years, more or less, to put together a team capable of being a good account of the nation in the most international soccer tournament there is, of course, the World Cup 2022. Qatari men's team hasn't appeared in the Olympics, which is the preparation goal for this tournament, since 1992. They're looking to change that. Qatar hosting the Asian qualifying competition in January 2016. In October of this year is when the United States will have CONCACAF qualification, so they're trying to gear up for this as well. Qatari squad in Toulon is made up of players from the country's top domestic clubs. The league champion Lequia, runner-up and future home of Javi Hernandez Al Saad, has a few players in here. El Jaish has a few players as well, but a few players on the roster have logged significant minutes with the first team, as is the problem with the United States, particularly Julian Green and Kiesewetter, two of the star players in this tournament for the United States. And the U.S. making a couple rotations to get as many of the players involved in this match as they can today. 7 changes, or rather 8 changes for the United States coming into today. And that all with the thought in mind that this could very well be the last match of the tournament for the United States. They're going to need to win big here against Qatar and hope for some luck if they are to get into that third place matchup. Again, France and the Netherlands pretty much controlling what happens in Group A at this point. France, the standout team of the tournament thus far, are 2-0, have not lost a game, have not drawn a game, and the Netherlands really with the best chance of keeping the French out of the championship match. The United States, by the way, would want France to win over the Netherlands and thus clear the way for the United States to sort of creep up into that second spot in Group A. They'll need some luck, though. Costa Rica still with 2 matches to play. Qatar would have to beat Costa Rica if the United States were to have a chance to get into that third place match. Qatar pretty much out of it at this point. The dominating loss to the Netherlands is going to make it difficult for them to make up any kind of a goal difference disadvantage that they may have gotten themselves into at this point in the tournament. But again, Qatar's objective, very much like the United States, is not to win any particular game here at this competition, but to identify players who can contribute to its cause in major competitive tournaments in the future going forward. A couple of injuries that happened in the first half. A bad injury from the looks of it for Ahmed Fadil, that happening in minute 13. Fadil sort of twisted his knee and went down by himself without being touched by any members of the opposing team or members of his own team. Usually those tend to be pretty serious injuries, and we'll hope he's all right. Ali Al-Salemi was brought on to replace him and played pretty well after coming on just 13 minutes into the contest. A little bit later in the first half, I believe it was minute 26, Juan Pablo Alcegueda was taken off. We didn't see him injured on camera, and it appeared to just be a straight swap at the time. Dylan Serna brought in to replace him. Did see Sam Strong go off the pitch with a bloodied head. And it looks like we're going to have a substitution here as well. I saw Jordan Morris going onto the pitch, the number 9 for the U.S. Fatai Alashi coming on as well. Alfred Karoma Shams coming off. That's one of the players. Didn't see who would be the second player to come off. Jordan Morris has had himself a pretty good tournament thus far and looks very promising going forward for the United States. We'll see how he plays in the second half. Julian Green has played very well today. Players have taken the pitch. We're just about ready to go here in the second half. Let's send it back down to the pitch. USA Qatar on beIN Sports.
Just with the one enforced change before the interval, with Hudhaifa Al-Salemi replacing Ahmed Fadil with what looked like a nasty injury. USA attacking the goal to our right-hand side in all white in the second half, leading by a 1-0. Brilliantly scored by Julian Green. But if they are to have any ambition really of progressing into the final Sunday of this competition, they do need a few more goals. Early free kick to them for the foul by Mohamed Al Said on Alonso Hernandez, who set up that magnificent volley by Julian Green in the 7th minute. Well, the Dutch caused mayhem against Qatar with a goal blitz early in the second half, and that's what the Americans will be looking to do here. Will Packwood, number 5, is the tall man, is up for this free kick by Dylan Cerner. Goes all the way through a crowd of players and ends up going behind for a goal kick. It was a fiendish delivery by Dylan Cerner, but nobody could get a touch. It went past 1, 2, 3, 4 American players, none of them able to apply a finish. There is Jordan Morris, who scored in the opening day defeat by France. USA were very much second best on that day. They've been the better team today against a Qatari side who have been guilty again of giving the ball away far too often in midfield. Really haven't got their front men going at all. Now scored 1 and conceded 8 in the tournament. Rock bottom as we stand. There's Andy Herzog, who I'm sure would have told his players to be positive. He's substitutions 1 in 4. Sam Strong got a nasty gash above his right eye in the first half, so he's off the field. Alache is the replacement for him. The other substitution is tactical with Jordan Morris, who is just running away from the ball there, number 9. He's got 4 goals in 7 appearances at under 23 level. Here's Hernandez. Flags up near side. It's going to be a free kick to Qatar. It's the 10th time that the US have been involved in this annual tournament in Toulon and the surrounding area, now in its 43rd year. Best position was 3rd in 1989. Last time they came here 2 years ago, they didn't negotiate the group stage, and that is a danger again. Here's Hoya, great cross, decent header by Hernandez. It wouldn't have counted, he was offside. Didn't really get a great deal on it. Alonso Hernandez applauds the cross, which was a good one. I'm not sure he was offside. I think if that had gone into the back of the net, the Americans would be pretty disgruntled. As if he was behind the last defender. Alialov's giving it away. Here's Hoya, and now Metzger, who had to finish the first half as an auxiliary centre-half. Qatar coming forward, but again the pass is misplaced, and the Americans get it clear. For very long though. Here's Ahmed Al-Aldin. Here's Ali Alob for Qatar. Gets the cross in. It's just bumped away. The goalkeeper, who didn't look terribly assured there. Didn't have anything at all to do in the first half. Such was the paucity of attacking intention from the Qataris. Been a little bit more positive in the second, and so was the goalkeeper. Could hear the big shout. Here's Morris trying to make his first impression of the second period, finding Pelosi. That's nicely worked. Green is on the far side. Not a terribly good cross by him, and Al Said is able to tidy up. Julian Green was the standout player in the opening half. Not just his goal, but his overall contribution. He was very creative, particularly down the inside left channel. Here's Al Salemi for Qatar, the substitute who came on for the injured Kadil in the first half. Green's beaten in the air by Al-Aldin. Well, as it stands, the US, if they win this game by a single goal, would have 6 points, but the goal difference in all probability won't be enough. France top of the group with 2 wins out of 2 and a goal difference of +4. The Dutch also have 6 points and a goal difference of +3. The Americans' goal difference is 0 at the moment. So if they were to progress, they would need probably 2 or 3 more here, and then a decisive result between the French and the Dutch, with one team winning comfortably. All they'll be able to do is sit and wait at the end of it all and watch the second game unfold. Costa Rica against the French is next up. From the Qataris with a low ball in from Al-Yari, only player who's managed to find the net for them in the tournament, and that was a consolation goal at 5-0 down against Holland in San Rafael. Here's Morris. He's got very little support, but he's a strong and quick and positive player, looking to go all the way. Is he brought down there? I think he was. No, he wasn't. He's gone over, and it's a free kick to Qatar instead. Very little support, Morris. Trying to muscle his way down that channel. Ball is played long. Okuono wins the header. Back to Tyler Miller. Not had a single save to make as yet. It's been the case for the opposing goalkeepers in all of Qatar's games so far generally. Here's El Said. Al-Aldin. It's nicely done. Harmless ball in though. And, sure that even classes as a save. It was more an intervention from the goalkeeper. This is Benji Hoya, American captain who plays for Santos Laguna in Mexico, on loan from Chicago Fire. Here's Alonso Hernandez, away from him by Ali Alob. As well, Alob, but subsequent ball is a harmless one. Here's Will Packwood. Benji Hoya, who scored a Toulon goal 2 years ago in the Americans' last participation. Green. Nicely done by the Americans. Pelosi into the box. Strong tackle. Green again. This is Metzger. Julian Green out wide. There's an overlap here. Cross is too long though. There's a foul committed by Benji Hoya. He might just get a word in his ear from the referee, taking out the Qatari skipper, Kidir Musab. Here's Al-Salemi. Mohamed Al-Eldin. Hoya goes long and looks for Morris, but it's too long. It's been a pretty scrappy start to the second half, which 10-minute mark has already been passed. Here's Okwonu. Hoya. Out wide by Hernandez to Green. Support here. Ball is low in towards Morris from Pelosi, but not accurate enough. Ali Alob finds Ahmed Al-Eldin. Here is again Alob. Al-Eldin plays a beautiful ball across field to Al-Salemi, but it's been intercepted by Mark Pelosi. This is a good run by the Liverpool man. He's looking for Hernandez. Fires it in, but it's in front of both Pelosi and Morris. It was more enterprising from the US team. Hernandez deciding to try and pick out one of his support front men, but neither had got forward enough. So the Americans as yet unable to add to that early goal. In truth, if they don't add to it, the possibilities of them even finishing second in this group would be fairly remote. They might have a long wait to find out their fate, because of course they don't play on the final round of matches, which will be back in Toulon on Thursday night with Costa Rica, Qatar, and France, Netherlands. Here's Al-Salemi. Again, he's lost the ball in midfield. Fateh Abdullah out to Ahmed Al-Eldin. Packwood and then Okwonu throwing themselves at it, but it's Qatar who've managed to come away with the ball. It's Al-Khalfan. It'll be a corner to the Middle Eastern team, who are still without a point in the tournament and in danger of that record continuing. Well, the final substitution is going to be made by the US in terms of outfield players, and it's, for my money, their best player in the tournament so far. Jerome Kieswetter replacing their second best tournament player of the tournament, Julian Green. That's a bit of a surprising substitution for me. Green has been very creative today. Kieswetter, though, is very, very strong, very quick, very direct. Scored in the 3-1 win against the Dutch. Plays for Stuttgart in Germany and has made his Bundesliga breakthrough there. So Qatar have a corner. It's flicked on at the near post, but the Americans get it away. But then concede a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. This spells potential danger for them. Well, if Qatar equalise here, there is the possible scenario that a draw would send both of these teams out of the tournament. It certainly would mean that Qatar's last game against Costa Rica would be meaningless from their point of view. Skipper Kidir Musab is standing over the ball. It was Fatih Abdullah who was fouled by Kieswetter, who's literally just come on. Well, danger here for the United States, who haven't come under any great pressure thus far. Usually the number 4, Mohamed Al Saeed, is involved in these type of situations. It's certainly an opportunity, but one that's not taken. Fired well over the crossbar by El Saeed, who's capable of much better than that. He shakes his head. Got right underneath it, and you can see how far it is over the crossbar. Tyler Miller just almost abandoned his dive halfway, thinking, well, that's nowhere near the goal. So it stays 1-0 with just over 15 minutes of the second half having been played. Hurriedly taken and given away, but Kieswetter's lost it now. Here he is, though, back in possession. Here's Alashe, who played as a defensive midfield player against the Costa Ricans 2 nights ago and scored a simple tap-in. He's playing as a centre-half today in place of Sam Strong. Here's Pelosi, far side. Danger here, perhaps. It's always worked cleverly by the US. Chance for Kieswetter. Didn't really get hold of it, and the block was enough to take it away from the danger area for Qatar, who are now on the counter-attack. It's a decent ball into Al Khalfan. It's well defended by Packwood again. He's played well in the heart of that American central defensive unit. Managed to repel all of the Qatari attacks, which have, to be fair, been few and far between. Buono gets it forward. Here's Ali Alob. Easy for Tyler Miller again. They really haven't tested him at all from the flanks, Qatar. This is Serna. And now Hernandez. Bit of space for Okuonu down this right. Not a good cross, though. Here's Dylan Serna. Mark Pelosi. Once again, it's a wasted opportunity. Worked his way onto his favoured foot to try and cross. That was the moment when Kieswetter had an opportunity for just a moment. He scored from a similar position against the Dutch, but didn't really get hold of that one at all. Kieswetter's head for a Qatar throw-in. Free kick to Qatar. Boyd Okuonu, the Real Salt Lake player, committing the foul. Al Saeed with the free kick. Again, it's wasted. So many opportunities in this match where Qatar have simply made little or nothing out of potential situations. It's not hard to see why they're bottom of the group without a point. They lack creativity in midfield, and even with their set-piece situations, they can't seem to make any of them pay. Forward by Packwood. Kieswetter has just kept that in. Here's Hernandez. Kieswetter's off on his way. It's a good run. Here he is. Well read, though, by Didier Moussab. It's a corner to the US. You see one of those beautiful multicolored trams making its way into the center of town here in Aubagne, where it's 20 past 6 on a very bright, warm evening. Dylan Cerner will take the corner kick. Up goes Packwood. Not this time. Scored with a similar effort against the Dutch, but didn't really get enough on that one to trouble the Qataris. But here's Hernandez. Foul by him. Well, it was half a chance for the Americans. Packwood just got to the flight of the ball, but just flicked off that mop of hair of his and didn't go in the intended direction. And is subsequently penalised. Another drinks break will take place. It's still thirsty work out there. Temperature's still up into the early 20s, but it's been a very hot day, noticeably hotter than the last few days here. Well, no addition to the scoreline as it stands. Even if the Americans were to win by a goal to nil, it would be very, very unlikely that they would progress into the final Sunday, which features the winners of Group A against the winners from Group B in the final itself, preceded by a third and fourth place playoff. We are going to get another Qatari substitution. In the meantime, Yusuf Al-Kubaisi, who started in the defeat by Netherlands, is about to come on, and he's going to replace the man who scored in that game, and it remains the only goal that Qatar have managed in the tournament, Othman Al-Yari, number 9. It's a straight swap, a striker for a striker. Kubaisi plays for the Qatar SC club. 21-year-old frontman. He's got a little over 17 minutes to try and make an impact. Here's Fatih Abdullah. Basman Degan. Forward by Moussab. Change of angle from the Qataris, but again the quality of the ball is poor, but it's given away by Kieswetter to Al Said. And it's another free kick in a promising situation for Qatar. Fatih Al-Ashay involved there. Yes, he went in quite high on Al Said. You can see from where Al-Ashay is standing that it's a hugely presentable opportunity. Mohamed Al Said, the man who was fouled, is the most likely candidate to take it, you'd think. Fatih Abdullah also standing over the ball. Tyler Miller yet to be tested in any way, shape or form today. There's a six-man white wall. The left-footed Al Said looks as if he's going to try his luck again, having put his previous effort a long way over the top. It's deflected and just wide. It's the closest they've come. It's an indirect free kick, so he had to bide his time. It's gone all the way through. It's the closest they've come. They haven't managed a single effort on target yet. Poor clearance by Tyler Miller invites more pressure on the Americans. 15 minutes to go in Aubagne. There's Ahmed Al-Aldin. It's gone the Americans' way. There's Hernandez. This is a good break by the US. Kieswetter trying to find a way through. Might still. Jerome Kieswetter. And the shot is blocked by Ali Alob. That was a good opportunity. Just set himself up nicely, but by the time he got the shot away, there was a covering defender. A bit more positive, though, and again, Hernandez, who's played very well today, instigated the forward momentum. Al Said has a free kick for Qatar. Away by Alashe, but he sliced it somewhat. Still alive on that far side. Qatari throw. Doesn't find Al-Salemi. The Americans are able to clear, but they come back at them. Awkward one for Packwood, who didn't really get much of a head on it, but enough to take it back to his keeper. Here's Alashe. He's come very deep to collect the ball and finds Alashe again. This is Serna. Metzger. Pelosi once more. Decent looking ball out wide. Hernandez is there. Pelosi again involved. Benji Hoyer's lost it. Not too many maroon shirts forward in this attack, but they've won a free kick, the Qataris, on halfway. Here's Mohamed Al-Aldin, intercepted by Alashe, but not very well. He's given it straight to Al-Salemi. Potential break here for Qatar if they can get men forward. It's Al-Salemi. It's Al Said, and it's cleared. And here's Kieswetter, who will use his pace to try and torment the Qataris. He's absolute lightning, and there he goes. It's a really good run, but it's a good recovery as well by Ali Bazmandagan. Haven't quite got it clear yet, though. Ali Alob obliges. Here's Fatih Abdullah. Al Said. Abdullah again. Cover by Boyd Okuonu. Taken nowhere near where the ball went out, but it's been allowed to go. Once again, it's a very poor delivery. Frustration for Ahmed Al-Maldin. And Tyler Miller once more got called into serious action. We've got a yellow card here. Brandished at the American skipper, Benji Hoya. This is why he was yellow carded. It was a little bit rash, although he'll probably claim he took a piece of the ball, but he was coming in with his foot up. 10 minutes to go. Still just the one goal. Wonderful goal it was, but it's not really enough for the US, who needed to push on with that early impetus and get a few more, just as the Dutch did against Qatar. Al Said with the free kick. Flicked by Okwono behind. Seem in any great hurry to take it, the Qataris, given that they're trailing by a goal to nil, and they haven't yet registered a point in the tournament. Only managed one goal. Al Said finally is across. Very, very deep. Flag is up. The free kick to the US. Well, the Qataris have singularly failed to make anything of any set piece they've had yet. Just the one shot from a free kick wide by Al Said. Only real effort they've had on goal. Sloppy ball out of defence by Packwood, but he's got away with it. Pelosi on different wavelengths from Kieswetter. Game's become increasingly scrappy. Hasn't been a game of any great quality in truth from either side. Fatih Abdullah for Qatar. Intercepted for the Americans. And it's going to be another yellow card. Fatih Abdullah, the transgressor this time. And he will miss the final game against Costa Rica on Thursday. That's his second booking of the tournament. It may be an academic game as far as the Qataris are concerned, because unless they can find at least 2 goals in the last 7.5 minutes, it would be mathematically impossible for them to qualify. Here's Packwood for the US. Could have done with a couple more themselves. I think they probably felt that it was asking a bit much. They would have needed France probably to lose to Costa Rica, and then Qatar to beat Costa Rica, and then positive result in the Netherlands-France game. It was an awful lot of ifs and buts before they could even think about their ambitions of progressing. But it looks as if they're going to have to wait and see. Here's a low ball in, but it's a goal kick, or is it? Maybe it's a corner. It's going to be a corner kick to Qatar. Well, Tyler Miller hasn't had a single save to make. The goal by Othman Al-Yari is pretty much Qatar's only effort on target of the entire tournament. Here's Al Said. Can they produce one now? It's too high and headed away, and there might be a break on here. Morris trying to switch it. It's a clever ball for Hernandez, and they do have men forward. Morris herring down the middle. Here's Kieswetter. It was well read by the covering Kidir Musab. Just for the moment, the Americans had a potential break there. We're going to get another Qatari substitute now. Ali Boujalouf, who we've seen in both the previous games, a sub against France, a starter against the Netherlands, and now on the field to replace Fatih Abdullah, who's just been booked and thus made himself ineligible for the last game. Here's Morris for the USA. Gets to the byline. No one arriving in a white shirt. It was in front of Kieswetter and behind Hernandez, but they do have a corner. Benji Hoyer to deliver from the far side. Goalkeeper comes, doesn't get there, only an intervention in front of him prevents the US getting the chance for a second goal. It was poor decision-making by Sateh Al-Abbasi. He was under pressure from Will Packwood, bounced away from him, and fortunately, as you'll see here, away by Al-Khalfan. And finally, the fourth substitution for Qatar, Saleh Yazidi, is replacing Nasser Al-Khalfan, who's been fairly ineffectual, coming in as the latest Qatari striker to try and curb this desperate lack of goals, but he hasn't been able to do it. The USA have a free kick here. Packwood and Alashe, the two big defenders, have gone up. It's going to be taken by Benji Hoyer. It's taken short and not very well. It's a training ground routine that didn't work when it really mattered. Packwood's got back as the Qataris look to break. It's a clever ball over the top. There's no flag here against Morris. And it was desperate defending by Khidir Musab. Just hesitated for a second, Jordan Morris, allowing Musab enough time to get back and block. There was no flag. He would have been in the clear, but for smart covering by the Qatari skipper. Here's Morris again. He's got an overlap here from Hernandez. Alonso Hernandez, clever flighted cross. Kieswetter at the near post, not able to get a touch. A little bit of quality in a game that hasn't had a great deal of it, this ball in. Just had a look and teased it beautifully into the near post. Kieswetter wasn't able to get there. That was the previous effort by Morris, and for a player who's been prolific at this age group, he perhaps should have done better. They do have a corner, and they're finishing the game strongly, the Americans. Looking to get a second goal to set the seal on the victory, but it's not well delivered. And then wide by Pelosi. And it looks like the Americans are going to finish the tournament with 6 points from 4 games. France and the Netherlands already have 6 points apiece. France with 2 games to play, the Dutch with 1, so it's a pretty hopeless situation for the US. Defeat will leave the Qataris marooned at the bottom of the table with no prospect of progressing. They'd love a late goal though, like they got against the Dutch. It's going to be a very late one now because we're ticking down towards the final minute of the 80. Here's Kieswetter. Finds Hernandez. Looking for Hoyer out wide. Overcooks it, or does he? No, Hoyer's just about kept it in. Here's Ahmed Al-Aldin. Free kick though awarded in favour of the United States for a foul. Still people arriving at the ground to get a glimpse of France in their latest match against Costa Rica. There's a bridge above the goal that the Americans are attacking, and the pavement of it is rapidly filling up with people getting a view of the game. And get into the stadium for nothing. The mayor of Aubagne has decided that all the games in this venue, in this competition, will be free of entry. Here's Al-Salemi. We're going to get 3 minutes added on at the end of normal time. And the goal came as early as the 8th minute, and they haven't been able to add to it, the US. Overhit by the Qataris. They've made something of it, and it was a real chance for Moussa, but he couldn't take it. The captain just sat up for him on the edge of the 6-yard box. He sliced his effort. Ali Alob getting it forward this time. Well, that was their best opportunity of the game, really. It was a decent block in the end, which saved the US, courtesy of Alache, from conceding late on. Here's Al-Said. Al-Salemi. Americans making a meal of defending at the moment. They just can't get the ball clear with the first intervention. And here's Al-Aldin. And now Al-Said. He's got a man out wide. It's a misplaced cross by the substitute, Saleh Yazidi. Well, it's going to be another defeat, it seems, for Fahad Abdullah Al-Zara. To be fair to Qatar, a lot of their good younger players are involved in the Under-20 World Cup, which is ongoing in New Zealand at the moment. They've qualified for that at under-20 level for the first time in 20 years. But in truth, too many of their players here in this Toulon tournament haven't really been of a sufficient standard to produce any decent results for them. Final seconds now. Bottom of our picture. Fahad Abdullah Al-Zara still trying to get his men going. It's a huge kick by Tyler Miller. It's a flick on towards Hernandez. Well defended by Bas Mandagan. Might be a chance here with Hoya. Wants room for a shot. Gets one in, and it's an easy save in the end for Sateh Al-Abbasi. Benji Hoya, who scored in his last appearance in Toulon in the 2013 tournament, not able to get a goal this time. Well, the Americans have won, but it won't be enough for them, I don't think. It was a pretty drab game, lit up by a fantastic goal in the 8th minute. Julian Green volleying home, but it looks as if both of these sides